Well, today I want to take on something that almost all of these cars have a problem with sometime in their life, and that's the hood hinges. The previous owner was meticulous in his care for this car. It was a low mile, garaged every night of its life, Western Survivor that he did a restoration on. But as you look over this exquisite car, something pokes out at you right away, and that's the hood alignment. So after multiple times of trying to align the hood by better used hinges that are in excellent condition, and every time he got out of the car, do this number, he gave up and just let it be. And that's sad, because this is a near perfect paint job, except for, look right in here, that's just too close a tolerance. So this near perfect paint job now has a chip. And for years there was really not much you could do, because everybody was fighting over the last pairs of NOS hinges. And most of your NOS hinges on eBay or whatnot are service replacement. They're made later, they're not correct, they're painted black, the rivets are different, and the reproductions suck. I mean, you're better off with no hinges than the reproductions, except for now. These have corrected all the ills of the factory hinges. They are substantially thicker, they weigh more, the rivets are tighter, they are not show quality, but I will take the points hit, because I have a feeling in 300,000 miles from now, 100 years from now, the hood alignment on this car will be perfect. And I don't care how much you try to elongate the holes or wail on those rivets to tighten them up or booger them around, once they're wore out, they're gone. Remember, these cars were only designed to last about 10 years and 100,000 miles, give or take. And often those hood hinges failed at 40, 50,000 miles, especially if your hood flew up, even at a low mile speed, if you didn't get it latched right. So today I'm going to show you how easy it is. And I know some of you are scared to do this job, but this is not that bad if you know a couple tricks. The first trick you need is you got to have the right tools. And today I'm going to show you how to use a hood spring removal tool. You at least need to have a friend on hand, even if you think you can do it by yourself. What if you get in a pickle and all of a sudden all your hands are tied up and you're holding half the hood up? But you can potentially do it by yourself. First thing you do, though, is you get tape. And I don't care how expensive you perceive this tape to be or how careful you think you are, go ahead and do it. You're going to scream at yourself if you chip your paint. So just coat everything with 1, 2, 3 layers of tape. Pretend it's free. Pretend it just doesn't matter, because in comparison to a rock chip, it doesn't. And on the corners, go extra, double it over. You might end up with 5 layers of tape. Now, it won't take too much ingenuity to come up with a better prop rod than I did, but I just look for what's available, and I don't want this hood to get away from me in any way. If you look in the comments below, you'll see some better ideas than this, actually. Some guys will tie something to the rafters. Everybody's got their opinion, but go slow and think. Anything that can happen will happen with nice paint. In fact, you should probably have the fenders covered and everything draped up. I double up a towel there. You should always have cheap, clean towels on hand to sacrifice. 1/2-inch wrench, 1/2-inch socket. Here we go. Now see how I'm protecting everything so nothing gets in a bind? And I'm just going to lay the corner of this hood right here. And now I'm going to take the hinge off the rest of the way. Before you get going too far, we need to remove the spring. I would advise against vice grips and screwdrivers and pry tools. This is all you need right here. Put your seat belt on there, get to the front of the car. This is going to take a good solid tug, but look how controlled you can remove the spring with a seat belt. A longer belt actually helps. That way you don't have to lean over and strain your back at all. We're going to reuse these. I find they don't generally wear out. Why buy reproductions when the originals are just fine? Now we can remove the hinge. Now don't throw these away. You'll notice there's date codes on them. As I mentioned, different years have different rivet stampings. If you go to the Concours Mustang forum, you can learn all about used hinges and what's the rare ones, the important ones, and the difference between left and right, and even the rivets. And for a cost of about a house payment, you can get these restored. Check out Angel Marcus's website. He really knows the ins and outs on these and can restore them like new. So when you sell the car, you just hand them to the new owner and say, keep these. And notice here, look what I'm doing with my shoulder here. Whenever I'm working on a hood, I get down to the angle of the hood and I put my shoulder into it. And that makes for a nice rest. You got to make sure that when you put this on, that this belt ends up on this side of the hook. If you end up on this side of the hook, you're in trouble. So here we go, stretch time. So you can't really judge where in these slots the new hinges go versus the old hinges, because the old hinges are just a little different. The old hinges were bowed out, they were sprung, so you're just going to have to kind of pick a midpoint in this slot, snug the bolts up, and see where you are. I'm going to leave that hinge. I'm going to do one hinge at a time, get it kind of close, and then I'm going to do the fine tuning. Huge gap here, huge gap there. Needs to come down more. Look at that, we're already looking so much better. I haven't even done the height adjustment yet, but just choosing the midway setting on those hinges, look what we're at. So I feel like we're close enough now that now I can go do the other side. Notice the kind of extension I have here allows for a little bit of movement. Notice how this hinge is bowed out, and I can see some shims falling out as I loosen up these bolts. Shouldn't ever have to use shims on hood hinges. Yeah, feel how these are just loose all over. And you'd never be able to, with your eye, tell it, but each one of these pieces is probably a little stressed, just a little bowed. Just they just weren't meant to last that long. Have to go way back on this side. Still way over here, so both of them need to be loosened. Okay, I'm going to have to raise the hood on that side. Okay, raising the hood. Not that much, but about there. Now notice how I got my shoulder in here. And so far I haven't had to call for anybody's help. I should, but I just kind of want to show that you can do it by yourself. Way too high. Now, one thing people forget sometimes in adjusting the hinges, and Andrew just reminded me, you're getting it close and it just isn't working. Well, do remember the hood latch moves too. So sometimes if you just give it a little bit of a nudge over to one side, you'll gain another 1/16. Let me get a wood block. Oops, a little too much. If you're like me, you're going to make about 30 trips back and forth. It might help to have two people, but keep in mind you're trying to adjust the hood to match the cowl first. If you get a nice line along this cowl, then you start moving your fenders or other components. We're pretty close on this one, but I do feel like the hood needs to come forward just a hair on that. We got the height about right, so you're looking for either even spacing and even height with the cowl. My main objective has been achieved. Look at the height here. We're no longer fiddling with it. And when you open and close this hood, you have a nice solid feel, not a rattly, shaky side-to-side feel. So I'm very happy with these reproduction hinges. Join in the conversation in the comments and you'll learn more about adjusting a hood on a Mustang or Cougar properly. Thanks for watching.